Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the final prophet in Islam. He is considered the last messenger of God. Muslims all over the world look to him as a model of excellent character. His life story is significant not just to Muslims, but also to history. Muhammad was born in Mecca in 570 CE. He grew up in a time of ignorance and idol worship. He came with a message of monotheism, ethical living, and social justice. His life and teachings transformed the Arabian Peninsula and beyond. This essay will explore key aspects of his life. We will look at his early years, his work as a merchant, and his mission as a prophet. We will also highlight important events and his character traits. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born in 570 CE in Mecca. His father, Abdullah, died before he was born. His mother, Amina, took care of him as a child. His lineage came from the noble tribe of Quraysh. The tribe was respected and powerful in Mecca. When Muhammad was very young, his mother sent him to live with a Bedouin family. This was a common practice among the Quraysh. He was placed under the care of Halima bint Abi Duaib. Halima loved him like her own child. He spent his early years in the desert, which helped him grow strong. After a few years, Muhammad returned to his mother. Sadly, when he was 6 years old, his mother passed away. From then on, his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, took care of him. 2 years later, his grandfather also died. After that, his uncle, Abu Talib, became his guardian. Despite these early losses, Muhammad grew up to be a kind and thoughtful boy. He was known for his honesty and good manners. People in Mecca respected him for his character. As a young boy, Muhammad took on responsibilities early. He helped his uncle Abu Talib with his business. Arab society valued trade, and Abu Talib was a merchant. Muhammad learned the trade routes and the art of business from his uncle. When Muhammad was 12, he went on a trade journey to Syria with Abu Talib. This was a significant experience for him. He saw different cultures and met various people. This broadened his understanding of the world. On this trip, they met a Christian monk named Bahira. Bahira saw signs of prophethood in Muhammad. He advised Abu Talib to protect the young boy. This incident left a lasting impression on Muhammad and his uncle. Back in Mecca, Muhammad continued to grow in wisdom and character. He worked hard and was known for his trustworthiness. People began to call him Al-Amin, which means the trustworthy. He carried these qualities into his adulthood. His experiences as a young man shaped his future greatly. He learned the importance of honesty and hard work. As Muhammad grew older, he became a successful merchant. He worked for a wealthy widow named Khadija. She was impressed by his honesty and skills. Eventually, Khadija proposed marriage to Muhammad. He accepted, and they had a happy marriage. Khadija and Muhammad had 6 children together. Sadly, only 4 daughters survived to adulthood. Khadija was a great support to Muhammad. She believed in his character and mission. Muhammad's reputation for honesty made him well respected in Mecca. People often sought his advice in disputes. His kindness and fairness were well known. He helped the poor and treated everyone with respect. He was also a peacemaker. Once the Quraysh rebuilt the Kaaba. There was a dispute about who would place the black stone. Muhammad suggested a fair solution. He placed the stone on a cloth, and all leaders lifted it together. This act showed his wisdom and fairness. Muhammad's life as a merchant and family man set the stage for his future role as a prophet. His integrity and kindness made him a beloved figure in Mecca. Section 5. Prophethood. At the age of 40, Muhammad's life changed forever. He often meditated in the cave of Hira near Mecca. In 610 CE, during one of these retreats, he received a revelation from God. The angel Gabriel appeared to him and said, "Read!" Muhammad was frightened and said he could not read. Gabriel repeated the command, and finally Muhammad understood. This first revelation marked the beginning of his prophetic mission. Muhammad was very scared at first. He went home and told Khadija about his experience. She comforted him and took him to her cousin, Waraka ibn Nawfal. Waraqah confirmed that Muhammad had received a message from God. After this event, Muhammad continued to receive revelations. These messages from God were later compiled into the Quran, the holy book of Islam. The Quran called for monotheism, ethical living, and social justice. Initially, Muhammad shared his message with close family and friends. Khadija was the first to believe in him. His friend Abu Bakr and his cousin Ali also accepted Islam early on. As more people accepted his message, his following grew. Muhammad's prophetic mission was not easy. He faced many challenges and hardships, but his faith and determination never wavered. Section 6. Early Revelations. The early revelations focused on monotheism and morality. They called people to worship one God and abandon idols. This message was not popular in Mecca. The Quraysh, who controlled the city, opposed him. They feared losing their power and influence. Muhammad continued to preach despite the opposition. He and his followers faced persecution. They were mocked and abused. Some were even tortured and killed. Yet they remained steadfast in their faith. During this difficult time, Muhammad received support from his family and close followers. Khadija's unwavering support was crucial. She provided emotional and financial support. His uncle Abu Talib also protected him, even though he did not accept Islam. The Quran also provided comfort and guidance. It encouraged patience and resilience. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, continued to deliver God's message with compassion and wisdom. This period of early revelations was a test of faith. Muhammad's perseverance inspired his followers. His character and message started to attract more people. Section 7. Persecution and migration. As the number of Muslims grew, the persecution increased. The Quraysh tried to stop Muhammad's mission. They offered him wealth and power to abandon his message, but he refused. He remained committed to his mission. The situation became unbearable. In 615 CE, Muhammad sent a group of his followers to Abyssinia, modern-day Ethiopia. The Christian king, Negus, welcomed them. This migration provided some relief, but the persecution in Mecca continued. In 622 CE, Muhammad received an invitation from the people of Yathrib, later known as Medina. They asked him to mediate their disputes and accepted his message. This marked the beginning of the Hijra, the migration to Medina. The Hijra is a significant event in Islamic history. It marks the start of the Islamic calendar. The migration to Medina was a turning point. It provided the Muslims with a safe haven. It also allowed Muhammad to establish a community based on Islamic principles. In Medina, Muhammad's role expanded from a prophet to a statesman and leader. The Hijra showed Muhammad's strategic thinking and leadership. It also demonstrated his commitment to his mission. Despite the hardships, he continued to spread the message of Islam. Section 8. Life in Medina. In Medina, Muhammad established a new community. He drafted the Constitution of Medina. This document outlined the rights and responsibilities of the citizens. It included Muslims, Jews, and other groups. It was one of the first written constitutions in history. Muhammad's leadership in Medina was marked by fairness and justice. He ensured that everyone was treated equally. He also focused on building strong relationships among the citizens. His goal was to create a cohesive and harmonious society. The early years in Medina were challenging. The Muslims faced threats from the Quraysh and other tribes. Despite these challenges, the community grew stronger. Muhammad's leadership and wisdom guided them through difficult times. One of the significant events in Medina was the Battle of Badr in 624 CE. The Muslims, though outnumbered, won the battle. This victory boosted their morale and established their presence in the region. It showed that with faith and determination, they could overcome any obstacle. Muhammad's time in Medina laid the foundation for the future Islamic State. His fair and just leadership set an example for generations to come. Section 9. Battles and Treaties. Muhammad's life in Medina was also marked by several battles. The Battle of Uhud in 625 CE was a significant event. Despite initial success, the Muslims faced a setback. Muhammad was injured and many companions were martyred. This battle taught important lessons about unity and obedience. Another crucial event was the Battle of the Trench in 627 CE. The Quraysh and their allies besieged Medina. Muhammad's strategic brilliance was evident. He suggested digging a trench around the city, a tactic unfamiliar in Arabian warfare. This strategy prevented the enemy from entering the city. In 628 CE, the Treaty of Hudaybiyah was signed. This peace treaty between the Muslims and the Quraysh was a turning point. It allowed for a period of peace and stability. It also provided an opportunity for more people to learn about Islam. The conquest of Mecca in 630 CE was a significant achievement. The Muslims entered Mecca without bloodshed. Muhammad showed mercy to his former enemies. This act of forgiveness won many hearts. The people of Mecca accepted Islam and idols in the Kaaba were removed. These battles and treaties were crucial in establishing Islam in Arabia. Muhammad's leadership, strategic thinking and compassion were evident in these events. Section 10. Farewell Pilgrimage. In 632 CE, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, performed his farewell pilgrimage. This was his last pilgrimage to Mecca. During this pilgrimage, he delivered a famous sermon. This sermon, known as the Farewell Sermon, is a summary of his teachings. In the sermon, Muhammad emphasized the importance of equality. He said that no Arab is superior to a non-Arab and no non-Arab is superior to an Arab. He also spoke about the rights of women and the importance of treating them with kindness and respect. Muhammad reiterated the principles of justice and fairness. He urged his followers to adhere to the teachings of the Quran and his example. He reminded them that they would be accountable to God for their actions. The farewell pilgrimage was a significant event in Muhammad's life. It was a culmination of his mission. It provided guidance to his followers on how to live a righteous life. It also reinforced the core values of Islam. Muhammad's message during the farewell pilgrimage continues to resonate. His teachings on equality, justice, and compassion remain relevant. Section 11. Lasting Legacy. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, passed away on June 8, 632 CE in Medina. His death marked the end of an era. However, his teachings and legacy continue to live on. Muslims around the world follow his example and teachings. Muhammad's life was a model of integrity, compassion, and wisdom. He transformed the Arabian Peninsula from a land of ignorance to a center of monotheism and civilization. His message of peace, justice, and equality continues to inspire millions. The Quran and the Hadith, sayings and actions of Muhammad, are central to Islamic teachings. They provide guidance on all aspects of life. Muhammad's example is known as the Sunnah. It is a source of inspiration and guidance for Muslims. Prophet Muhammad's impact is not limited to the Muslim world. His teachings on social justice, compassion, and human rights are universal. They transcend religious and cultural boundaries. His life is a testament to the power of faith and the importance of ethical living. The legacy of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is enduring. His teachings continue to guide and inspire. His life is a model